Hey everybody, welcome to Freedom Valley App Groups, where we apply the message we heard this Sunday at FV Church.
In week 3 of our You Asked For It series, where we're talking about the topics that are most asked in church, we discussed money. Now, don't worry, in your home groups today, we're not gonna balance our checkbooks or talk about how much we make or talk about where your money needs to go. It's less about the what to do and more about what money is, what finances are, and why that's important.
It's almost more about how to feel about your finances. Like it's more about what money does to us and in us than what it is for us.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting that as my dad, Pastor Jerry, preached about it this weekend, he related money to worry. Because so often where we take money isn't just what I can do with it, what I can buy with it. It's more, what can't I do with it?
And I remember learning about money, that money is a tool. You know, it's like a hammer or a brick. A brick can build a house, a hammer can build a house, or a brick can be thrown through a window, a hammer can bash a kneecap. These things are tools. In and of itself, a brick is not evil, but how I choose...
Mafia shows?
I do, man, kneecapping. But that hammer, how I choose to use it is what matters. It's a tool, and money is a tool. Your finances are a tool, and you can either let that tool be used for good or for evil. And this week's message really focused on, are you letting that tool, that item, control you? You know, is it the master of you, or is it managing you, or are you managing it?
Right, because everything in our lives is just a tool to be used by God. We are a tool to be used by God. And if we're saying, for instance, we talk about tithing a lot in church, and we find that some people are ready to do it right away. Some people are like, yes, I would love to start doing 10%, maybe people with a little extra in their budget. But those of us who have a little bit of a tighter budget, our first reaction is, well, I don't know if I can do that and afford at least some of the things that I already have. And if I can't afford what I have, do I shrink to be able to tithe? And we worry so much about that.
One of the ways that finances or money control us is people have a tendency to live within their means, and then just within their means. If I get a raise, do I have more money or do I spend more money? And in college, one of my best friends was independently wealthy. She had enough money that she never had to think about it. She had a blind trust, and she was always given money, and it was always there. She was able to pay for her school with one check. There was always money. But she was often worried about money. She was often conscious about money. She was like, should I buy this? Is this too expensive? I don't want to spend too much. I don't want to, and it did, in a lot of ways, control who she was. And she would always say, I never know if people are friends with me because of my money or because of this. And there I am sitting there, a very poor college student who didn't have a job or any income.
I would be happy to let her buy pizza.
But I was being controlled because I didn't have enough of it. And she was being controlled because she had too much of it. And then in reality, if we both stepped back and understood that it was just a tool for us to use, money is how I paid the bills, is how I went to that school to learn about God, is how I'm able to give back to God. If I utilized it and didn't worry about it, or if she didn't worry about it, it could have been a healthier thing in our lives.
And maybe you both could have used it in a better way because you weren't so stressed about how it could be used. I don't know, if anytime that I get like over obsessed with how something should be done, I end up like doing it too much, and I don't use it the way I would have if I had really thought it through.
So how are you managing your finances? AppGroup's one of our core things we like to talk about is stewardship. How are you being a good steward or a good manager of your finances? Or are your finances controlling you? Are they dictating the way you live or the way you serve God? When we talk about tithe, we say 10%. My rich friend, 10% for her was the same 10% for me. We both paid God 10%. It doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor, if you have a lot or you have a little. How are you managing it? What are you doing with it? How are you using it? Or are you letting it manage you?
Yeah, and I want to ask you guys to consider together, why is money so tightly connected to worry? The passage my dad taught from this weekend was Jesus preaching, and he went straight from you can't be controlled by two things, money and God, and then straight into and don't worry so much. Why is money so connected to worry? That back 2,000 years ago, it was connected then too, and it still is now. How is it still connected? How can we fight that? Talk about that tonight.
Yeah, so address your anxieties around the topic, take away the fear, and then talk about how we can be more able to not worry with these situations.
Good word. Hope you guys have a great discussion tonight.
We'll see you next week.